What's up guys? Samantha here. Today's video I'm going to be talking about TEAS version 6. Now for those of you who have never taken the TEAS, it has 4 parts to it. Those parts are reading, math, science, and English and language. So reading was pretty straightforward. I didn't really have an issue with that at all. I got a really high score. I would say the most important thing is know the difference between what's the main purpose of this passage, what kind of writing is this, very basic, simple reading concepts. For math, that was actually my highest score, surprisingly, because math is my worst subject. One thing I would say that really helped me with math was it does allow you to have a calculator. There's a calculator on the screen. That saved my life. I cannot tell you. It was beautiful. Now for science. I actually watched a couple YouTube videos before I went and took my T6 test, and a lot of people said that it should have been renamed the anatomy and physiology section with some science questions, and it is completely true. Of my 54 questions, I would say about 45 were anatomy and physiology, and it mainly focused on endocrine. That was, I would say, the #1 system, urinary and digestive systems. Those were, I would say, the most hit systems. I had a couple from the muscular, and that was really it. I think I had one question about photosynthesis and cellular respiration. There was also a couple basic chemistry questions. As for the English and language, that one I would say was my hardest subject because it had a lot of spelling questions, and I am a terrible speller. And it had just simple words, but it had words with like multiple vowels in it, like maybe 2 A's or 2 O's and just weird words like that. So like you look at all the different answers and you're like, well, I guess that could be right, but maybe this one's right. And oh my goodness, but I ended up passing my very first try. I got a really high score. I would suggest personally, if you're gonna take the TEAS, take it right after you take Anatomy 2. That's gonna be the best time to take it because the English portion of it, really, you should already know all that stuff from high school. And the math, as long as you've had intermediate algebra, you'll be fine. But really take Anatomy 1 and 2 before you take your TEAS test. You will have a better chance of passing with Anatomy 2 because Anatomy 1 is just not enough to pass it. As for my other requirements for the nursing program, besides my prerequisites, I had to take my TEAS. I also had to go through an interview process. I had to get 3 letters of recommendation, 2 professional, 1 personal, and I actually had to sit in with my program director and she interviewed me, and then I had to go before a committee and they all interviewed me, and then I got accepted. Once I got accepted, I got this big packet of stuff I had to get done before. There were so many papers I needed to fill out and get filled out, and I had to start my immunization list. There are so many. First off, I had to get titers. For those of you who do not know what titers are, they draw your blood and they see if you are still immune to shots that you got when you were a kid, like measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, and luckily I was still immune to everything but hepatitis B. So I actually just got my 2nd hepatitis B shot because it's a series of 3 shots. Just a fair warning, if you have never had a Hep B shot, it hurts really bad. Getting into nursing school has by far been one of the hardest things. There are so many hoops and loops and steps and curves you have to go around. Hopefully this gave you a little insight as to what it's going to be like. Just to end on a high note, this is my baby Caesar, and it's spelled C-Z-A-R. So technically it's like Russian Tsar, but it's Caesar.